Hey, Whippersnaps, this is Tortimer the Grey. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Pokemon Showdown Grey version Season 2. This week we are doing the final gym battle of this season. OU Water type battling is what's happening this week, and I lead off with Hanu as Codeman leads off with Lumos, his Manphy, I think, maybe? I don't know what that Pokemon's called. It's some little worthless event legendary, and it goes down. Hanu throws up the Stone Edge up against Cindy. Cindy takes that extremely well, and then the knockoff is going to finish Cindy off, so that works out pretty nicely for us. Hanu's going to take a Scald and go down to Murasaki. A lot of shiny Greninjas this week, and this is not the first or last one. Well, this is the first, but not the last that we'll see today. Toadette goes down to an Ice Beam, unfortunately. Legion is then going to come in up against Tsunami and throw up the Bullet Punch. It's not going to do a whole lot. The Zen Headbutt is going to miss as the Dragon Dances start coming in. Then the Mega Evolution hits. I was hoping, because we went through a couple of turns without Mega Evolution, that I could maybe get around it, but alas, no. And my guess is Codeman was just playing with me, which was a smart tactic, putting me off guard, and he got a free turn out of it. So Whirlpool throws up this Volt Switch, is going to switch on out. I'm down to Fiber, Whirlpool, and my Dragonite Raceland. Fiber's Disguise is going to make it immune to the first attack, and then I'm going to throw up the Play Rough, but Play Rough is going to miss. The Scald is going to land, turning Murasaki into a Water type. Fiber is going to go down to under half. Second Play Rough misses. I had some pretty bad RNG this week, whether from Toadette's Bullet Seed only hitting the minimum number of times, or just misses, or whatever. Not great RNG on our side this week. Raceland then comes in, our Dragonite up against the Fairy type Acapella. We throw up the Gigavolt Havoc and finish off the Primarina. So, thank you so much for participating this week, Gym Trainer Codeman. I greatly appreciate it. Let's jump into the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty guys, battle number 2 up against Gym Trainer Yesh, and Yesh leads off with Darth Frogger. Darth Frogger is going to turn itself into a Water type as Hanu sets up the Shell Smash. I really need to get... Well, so this week we're done. We're done with OU after this week, but I really need to... It's been a while since they've had a decent lead, and I need to do that. So remind me next week when we move into Ubers. A decent lead would be useful. Hanu throws up the Earthquake. This freaking Mega... Snorlax, Slowbro, it's way too bulky. Hanu is not being able to get through it, and finally going to go down to the Scald here. Toadette then switches in, and here's some bad RNG. So we get the Super Effective Bullet Seed. It's doing really good. If it just hit more than twice, Slowbro would have gone down, but no, Toadette's going to go down to the Slowbro. Whirlpool then switches in and throws up the Volt Switch. Slowbro is being physically defensive. I finally decided to go for the special attacking move, and so that worked out pretty nicely. Fiber is going to take the Disguise and then throw up the Play Rough on Darth Frogger, and he's going to take hard damage. Shadow Snake finishing off the Greninja there. At that point, Mana War comes in. Mana War is a Rock Poison type, and so Legion switches in. Unfortunately, Legion Mega Evolves and then goes down immediately to the Mana War, so not able to do anything for us here in this battle. I didn't expect Mana War to be as fast as it was. I expected we'd be able to finish it off. Should have gone for the Bullet Punch or something, but I think I was going to try the Meteor Mash instead, going to hopefully one-shot it. Then we've got Whirlpool on Whirlpool. The burn is ticking away at each other. Whirlpool's number 2 sets up the Z-Charge, boosting its special defenses, so I bring in somebody physical. Fiber throws up the Play Rough, but again, we miss. Gonna take a Will-O-Wisp, which is unfortunate, hurting our attack power. Fiber then is gonna throw up a Play Rough, not really doing a whole lot there. The Pain Split going to give Whirlpool a little bit of health back and lowered Fiber down. I think, yeah, we throw up the Shadow Sneak here, and then I think, yeah, Fiber goes down to the Thunderbolt there. So, Fiber goes down, and then Raceland comes in. Raceland's going to throw up the Dragon Claw, which is going to be enough to finish off the Whirlpool there. Dragonborn comes in, which forces me to bring in Whirlpool and myself. Their Play Rough lands, because why not? And Whirlpool's going to go down. I decided to throw up the Pain Split here, which works out very nicely for me because they switch into full health Mana War. So that gets Whirlpool back up into a manageable space. The Sludge Bomb, however, is really going to wreck us, and the Hydro Pump is going to finish off the Mana War. So we got lucky at least there that move hit and didn't miss. At that point, they switch in. I go for the Pain Split, just kind of praying that I'll be faster, and we are lucky, and we are. So we get Dragonborn down, and then we're able to outspeed this time, throwing up the Gigavolt Havoc there and finishing off the Azumarill. So thank you so much, Yesh, for a great battle. Glad you're able to get in here this week. I know you've been really busy and haven't been able to make a lot of these, but great battle this week, so I'm glad you were here. And yeah, so thank you so much, Gym Trainer Yesh. Let's jump into the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we go with Hanu leading off again up against Cobblepot as Gym Trainer Scad continues her Batman villain theme from the previous week. Hanu is unfortunately going to get burned on the first attempt with the Scald, so that's unfortunate. And just continuing our bad RNG this week. Cobblepot then switches out as Clara switches into a knockoff there, the burn finishing off Hanu. Toadette then switches in and is going to Wet Watch as Clara sets up the Dragon Dance. We throw up the Bullet Seed, but again, only hit twice as Clara evolves into the Mega Gyarados, finishing us off with an Ice Fang there. At which point, Fiverr switches in. I was glad to see here that Stealth Rocks did not break the disguise, so that's nice. It has to take at least a move. Unfortunately, the Shadow Sneak, even 2 times attack boosted, was not enough to finish off Clara, and so Fiverr goes down. Whirlpool then switches in, going to take a hard Waterfall. Take it reasonably well, but pretty hard considering Whirlpool's defenses, finishing off the Mega Gyarados. At which point Legion comes in, and Scad's going to bring in her Greninja. Legion is going to take a Shadow Sneak, and then the Ghost-type Zitz is going to take an Earthquake there. Just pretty good damage, and then the Bullet Punch able to come in and finish off the Greninja. When Greninja goes down, Croak comes in and sets up the Drizzle. Legion uses Zen Headbutt, but is going to miss. That's a 90 accuracy move, and we missed like a number of times this week. So yeah, we just really bad RNG. But Drizzle goes down, or whatever the Politoad's name was. Legion goes down up against Florence, and Raceland is going to switch in then at that point. Throwing up that Dragon Claw, going to take Florence down to 15%. Not going to be enough though, but Raceland does withstand the Ice Beam. 4 times effective, Raceland's going to withstand it. Being able to get the Dragon Claw up on Cobblepot, and then he's going to be able to outspeed Cobblepot here to get the Thunder Punch going, which will finish off the Pokemon there. Raceland then, Empoleon, I know the name of it. We used the Gigavolt Havoc to get Prickle down. Unfortunately, Prickle, even with the Gigavolt Havoc, super defensive, only down to about half. Whirlpool's going to throw up the Volt Switch, gets Prickle down nice and low, but Scad's setting up the recover here, getting Prickle back up into a range where probably not realistic for us to be able to get rid of it. Florence coming in, and we throw the Will-O-Wisp up on it, so that's going to get a little bit of burn damage going there for us, which is nice. We throw up the Whirlpool, or the Hydro Pump here, expecting the Volt Absorb. Being a Water Gem, I figure that's probably the most likely ability for this thing to have, wanting to cover the electric weakness and turn it into a power. Whirlpool's going to take the Thunder there from Florence. We miss Hydro Pump a number of times in a row there. Whirlpool finally lands one and gets Florence down close to the burn range, but Whirlpool's going to go down at this point, and Scad will take the battle. So, Gym Trainer Scad winning this week. Thank you so much for participating, Scad. I greatly appreciate it. Let's jump into the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys. Gym Trainer Celine Eleanor comes out with Raichu 2, and Hanu is going to take a knockoff, set up the Shell Smash there. And at that point he's going to throw up the Stone Edge. Unfortunately, Raichu 2 avoids it, and the Brick Break is going to finish off Hanu. Legion then comes in at that point. We're going to Mega Evolve and throw up the Earthquake. Wasn't sure. I expected potentially a switch there, and so that's why we went Earthquake and not... I guess Meteor Mash wouldn't have been super effective anyway, but Meteor Mash here, enough at least to finish off the Raichu, and we do get the attack boost, so that works out nicely. Bro D then comes in and Mega Evolves itself, throws up the Flamethrower, and finishes off with a super effective critical hit, finishes off Legion. I don't believe that the super effective critical hit there mattered. Once again, Toadette only gets 2 Bullet Seeds, and then goes down to a Psychic from Bro D, at which point Fiverr comes in and throws up Shadow Sneak, and so Slowbro goes down. Fence then comes in, and the Baneful Bunker fails. Raceland is going to throw up its Z-Power, and take it down to close to dead on that one. So a little bit different set on this particular Marini, because the last one only took us about to half last time we did that, so it worked out pretty nicely for us. They take a turn to Protect or Baneful Bunker or whatever, and so we get some time to set up with the Dragon Dances there, at which point Tapu Fini comes in, and is going to obviously be a fairy type, but we're so boosted that the Thunder Punch is going to be enough to finish it off. Lapidot is going to go down as well, and then Greed, the Greninja, comes in and is going to get Thunder Punched and go down. So Raceland doing some good work for us here today. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much, Gym Trainer Celine Eleanor. I greatly appreciate it. Let's jump into the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys, we had a new challenger this week, Chase, and Hanu comes in up against Pelipper, setting up the Shell Smash as he's been doing this week, and Pelipper is going to U-turn on out, bringing in the Ludicolo. Ludicolo is going to set up that Giga Drain and just wreck Hanu. Fiverr then switches in. The Giga Drain is going to break our disguise, but Fiverr is going to take the opportunity of a free turn to set up the Sword Dance. It's got pretty decent speed, but not able to outspeed the Ludicolo. That thing is a freaking speed demon. And we get the Shadow Sneak up against Greninja, but it's going to throw up the Dark Pulse and finish off Fiverr there. Fiverr going down. Battle Bond is going to allow Greninja to evolve into Ash Greninja. Toadette then throws up the Mach Punch, which is going to do good damage on the Empoleon. I think we finish it off here with another one, finishing off the Steel-type Empoleon. At which point Kingdra switches in. Toadette is going to take a Draco Meteor and go down. Toadette falls very quickly there. The Whirlpool then comes in, forcing out the Kingdra. Rotom Wash itself is going to switch in, and then Whirlpool will come out. Legion then coming in. Gonna throw up the Mega Evolution and the Zen Headbutt there, doing good damage to the Rotom. We get lucky and get the flinch. That's like the one piece of good luck we get all week here. And Zen Headbutt finishes off the Rotom. Greninja then switches in, bringing Whirlpool back onto the field. Whirlpool's going to take that Dark Pulse, but not very well, and is going to go down to the second one there. So, yeah, the second one was a crit, but the first one wasn't, so there was no chance of Whirlpool surviving that. Raceland comes in, is going to set up a Dragon Dance there. Going to throw up the Thunder Punch and finish off the Pelipper. At that point, Kingdra switches in. Going to throw up that Ice Beam, and Raceland able to take that, working out very, very nicely. Throwing up the Dragon Claw, finishing off the Kingdra there, leaving just Greninja, and Raceland's going to be able to get that Thunder Punch up and finish off Chase. So, thank you so much for battling this week, Gym Trainer Chase. I greatly appreciate it. Always nice to get some fresh faces in here, so thank you so much for battling. Let's jump into the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys, up against swimmer Addy, and Addy leads off with Swampert, forcing us to switch into Whirlpool. Whirlpool is going to throw up the Will-O-Wisp there on the Swampert. I actually didn't realize... I think it might have been Addy's, but one or two people used Swampert. I think it might have been Addy's battle, where I was just kind of dreading the entire time seeing the thing Mega Evolve. I didn't realize that Mega Swampert hadn't been released yet, which I don't really understand. Can we not trade between Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and... I guess you can't, right? But, yeah, anyway, I was fully expecting to see the Swamperts that I did see in Mega Evolve until I was like, I think at the end of somebody's battle I mentioned it, and they're like, oh yeah, no, he's not released yet. I was like, oh, okay, that makes me feel better. Because I was kind of like stressing out. I was like, oh, these things are so powerful, I really don't want to go up against that. Hanu comes in and dies, because that's what Hanu generally does. Oh, yeah, when my starter's fully evolved form is in like RU or something, getting up into these levels, it makes it difficult, but Fiverr able to come in and finish off the Kingdra of the Play Rough. Greninja switching in. Gonna throw up the Surf. Fiverr's Disguise is going to take that real well, and I think we get the Play Rough up on the Greninja, so we at least land that, which works out pretty nicely. Fortunately, Greninja was pure Water type at that point, so we have to finish off with a Shadow Sneak the next turn, as opposed to getting the kill because of the Dark type. Pelipper then comes in, throw up the Shadow Sneak there, and finish off the Pelipper, but they got their Rain back up, which is, I'm sure, their whole point. Fiverr is going to get attack lower from Mega Gyarados there. We throw up the Play Rough, which lands even with the attack lowering. Might have been able to finish that off without it, but Fiverr is going to go down to a Waterfall from the Mega Gyarados. Raceland then comes in and is going to take a Waterfall as well, but going to be able to get the Thunder Punch up and finish off the Gyarados. At which point, Rotom switches in, get the Thunder Punch going. It doesn't really do a whole lot, and Raceland is going to take a hard Hydro Pump. Raceland at that point is going to throw up the Dragon Claw, critical hit on the Rotom, which definitely mattered there. Getting through those defenses would have been much more difficult without it. Swampert then coming in as we bring Legion onto the field for the first time in the battle. Legion's going to Mega Evolve, throw up the Earthquake, and it's not going to really do much to the Swampert. Legion is going to take a hard hit there from the Scald, but we don't get the burn, which is nice. We do miss with the Zen Headbutt, however, and then the second Scald is going to land the burn, I believe. Yes. So the burn comes from the second Scald there. at which point Legion is going to throw up the Zen Headbutt, not really going to do much to the Swampert at all, and going to go down to a Scald, giving Swimmer Addy the first, or not the first win, but giving Swimmer Addy the win for today. So thank you so much for participating, Addy. I greatly appreciate it. Let's check out the last couple of battles we've got here, and we will move into the spreadsheet. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, we've got Gym Leader Shawnosaurus, and he leads off with his Greninja, setting him up mostly as a hazard setter, which is an interesting use for Greninja. Definitely unique on what we've been seeing it do today. Unfortunately, I removed Aqua Jet from this set, which was unfortunate, so we couldn't take advantage of Greninja's ground typing, but we were able to finish Greninja off with Hanu nonetheless. Crawdaunt then comes in with its own Aqua Jet, though, and finishes Hanu off, so Hanu goes down. Bring Whirlpool in, who's going to be able to avoid the spikes that Shawnosaurus set up. Dragalge is going to take the burn there, and then we're going to Volt Switch on out, bringing in, Legion comes in at that point. Legion is able to be immune to the Sludge Wave, which works out very nicely for us. Dragalge is going to switch on out as Legion throws up the Mega Evolution and the Meteor Mash. Water resists that, so not going to do a whole lot for it. Zen Headbutt, however, is going to land and do some pretty good, decent work on the Pelipper. Kingdra then coming in, throwing up the Hydro Pump and missing it. That works out pretty nicely for us. The Earthquake landing and doing pretty good work. Unfortunately, the second Hydro Pump does land, and Legion going down before able to finish off the Kingdra. Whirlpool switches in. We're going to Volt Switch on out on the Dragalge once again, and then Raceland is going to come in, avoiding the spikes. We set up the Dragon Dance here, and then they throw up the Draco Meteor. We get lucky that that misses, and then Raceland's going to go for the Dragon Claw there. So that was a bit of luck there as well. If that Draco Meteor lands, Raceland probably dies. Crawdaunt is going to come in, get Thunder Punched, and go down to its Sash. Raceland is going to be able to take that knockoff very well. The Aqua Jet doing some decent damage, but Thunder Punch is going to finish off the Crawdaunt. Pelipper then switches in, sets up the Drizzle once again, as Raceland throws up the Thunder Punch and takes it down. Shawnosaurus throws up the Kingdra. Kingdra is going to throw up that Ice Beam, which is going to finish off Raceland, at which point, I believe, yes, Fiverr switches in. Fiverr is going to take the Ice Beam, and the skies will break, but Fiverr is otherwise unharmed. We throw up the Play Rough there, which is going to be enough to finish off the Dragon type, so down goes Kingdra. Now Shawnosaurus is down to his Swampert. The Play Rough is going to land, not do a ton of damage, and the Waterfall is going to finish off Fiverr, leaving me with Toadette and Whirlpool. Toadette's going to be able to throw up the Bullet Seed, and only hits once, but thankfully that's enough for the Swampert to go down. So thank you so much for participating this week, Shawnosaurus. I greatly appreciate it. And let's move on to the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we go up against Gym Trainer Arctic Animal, and Mac leads off with Flippers, which forces me into Whirlpool, being worried about that Earthquake. We get the burn going there, and the Scald is not going to burn us, so that works out fairly nicely in our regard. Toadette then switches in and is going to take a Scald, does more damage than I would have hoped for on a resist, and then the Swampert is going to switch out as the Bullet Seed lands on Winston, boosting its ability, or using its ability to boost its stats thanks to Sap Sipper. I was actually very, very lucky there. As soon as I saw Winston come in, I was like, oh crap, Sip Sapper. And then I was worried for a second there, like with Mudbray's stamina, I was worried that Sap Sipper was going to boost the moves for every time, or the defenses for every time it hit. And I was like, yeah, we're screwed. Fiber able to finish off the Swampert. Toilet Bowl coming in with the Hurricane and breaking the skies. Fiber unfortunately becomes confused at that point though, and we're going to miss with the Play Rough, so that doesn't do us a whole lot of good, and the second Hurricane does some good damage there. Play Rough finally lands and isn't going to be enough to finish off the Pelipper, at which point Dr. King comes in. We get surfed, and unfortunately not going to survive it, so we can't use our Fairy type moves up against Dr. King, the Kingdra there. Winston then comes in and is going to get burned, so I figure why not, for the rest of damage, let's go for it. Whirlpool then throws up the Hydro Pump, hoping to at least get some stab and some rain boost. Use that rain to our benefit a little bit, but unfortunately it missed. The Volt Switch does almost nothing as Legion comes in. The Dragon Pulse doesn't do a whole lot to Legion, so that's nice at least. But Winston going to switch out in favor of Tsunami. The Clear Body saving us from the stat lowering. Meteor Mash going to do a little decent damage, I guess, to Tsunami. I expected the Mega Evolution there at that point, but we did not get it, so unfortunately no No damage done with the Earthquake, but Legion able to finish it off with the Zen Headbutt before it goes down to an Aqua Jet from Peaches, the Azumarill there. Whirlpool then switches in, forces out Peaches. Winston coming in and is going to get Will-O-Wisp, but is already Will-O-Wisp, so the burn can't be doubled up. Whirlpool throwing up the Hydro Pump, unfortunately not going to really do anything at all, and so we missed our window with the rain there. Whirlpool is going to throw up the Pain Split, which is going to take a little bit of health from Winston, but not going to be enough, and Whirlpool is going to just throw up the Hydro Pump, just try and chip away at this behemoth here. Dragon Pulse going to land as Whirlpool hangs on. The Hydro Pump landing and getting Winston close to burn range, but I think its leftovers are going to get it. Or no, it just wasn't enough to kill. Toadette comes in then, is going to throw up the Mach Punch, finishing off the Goodra. Goodra goes down as Dr. King comes in. Toadette gets Ice Beamed and goes down immediately, leaving me with just Raceland, and Raceland up against two Pokemon that are super effective against it. That Ice Beam going to land and finish off the Dragonite, giving Mac the win for this week. So Gym Trainer Mac takes victory as well. So we lost a fair number of times in this week's battle, but we've got one more Gym Trainer battle and then the Gym Leader, so we're going to jump right into it. But thank you so much for participating, Mac. I greatly appreciate it. Alrighty, guys, here we go. Alrighty, guys, we're up against Gym Trainer the Espresso Cat, and eCat leads off with Misty, his Gyarados, switches into Lysandre, his Gyarados, as Hanu Shell Smashes to avoid the Intimidate lower. Lysandre is going to then Mega Evolve as we throw up the Stone Edge, so unfortunately just a little bit too late on that one. We lose the super effectiveness as Hanu goes down to an Earthquake. Toadette then switches in and throws up the Mach Punch on Misty. Misty kind of laughs at that, but we are able to get the Stone Edge off on her and finish off the second Gyarados. Loki at that point is going to take a Mach Punch, which works out very nicely down for Loki. Billy Joe then comes in and throws up the Zen Headbutt, doing hard damage to Toadette. Toadette sets up the Sword Dance, and then we're going to go for, I think we went for the Bullet Seed on that one, because this Torpedo didn't have Speed Boost, so I wasn't too worried about underspeeding it, but unfortunately it had priority. Jazzy then is going to come in and force Fiber back out. Whirlpool, the Baneful Bunker is going to be negated, as the Volt Switch does some decent damage to Jazzy and then switches out. Legion coming in for the Poison move, being immune to it, works out very nicely in our half. So the Earthquake finishing off the Marini. Lysandre at that point switches back in, going to get Earthquaked, but not going to be enough as it throws up an Earthquake of its own and finishes off Legion. Legion goes down as Dragonite comes back in with the Thunder Punch, finishing off Lysandre. Billy Joe switches in at that point and throws up an Aqua Jet, which does almost nothing to the Dragonite. Take the opportunity to throw up the Dragon Dance, and then we'll come in with the Thunder Punch and finish off the Sharpedo. That was a crit, but I don't think it really mattered, as Dark Knight, the Crawdaunt, comes in, is going to take a Thunder Punch and go down as well, giving us the battle. So thank you so much for participating this week, Gym Trainer eCat. We've got the Gym Leader now, so let's jump into that one, and then we'll take a look at the spreadsheet. Alrighty, guys, here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we are up against Gym Leader Update 124 as they lead off with their Pelipper, which Hanu hits with a Stone Edge but does not defeat. Pelipper U-turning on out as Justin, the Ludicolo, switches in. Toadette comes in and is going to take that Giga Drain, which does way more damage than it should have. Considering its resisted nature, Toadette's just mad at this point. So for the first time in the battle, she hits more than twice with the Bullet Seed, or first time this week, I guess I should say, more than twice with the Bullet Seed. Legion going to take the Aqua Jet very well, and then go into Mega Evolve here. Bring up the Earthquake, doing decent damage to Lips. Unfortunately, the Crunch coming from Lips is going to be too strong and is going to finish off our Mega Pokemon. Fiber at that point comes with the Shadow Sneak, which is super effective, finishing off the Psychic Water Pokemon. Rika then, the Fairy type, switches in. Fiber going to set up the attack, knowing that we've got the Disguise in order to get in there. Throw up the Shadow Sneak, not enough, however, and the Psychic is going to finish off Fiber with a crit. Whirlpool then switches in and is going to force out Primarina. Dumpling comes in and is going to take the burn. Dumpling switches out. Pelipper switches back in to get the rain going. Whirlpool uses Hydro Pump but is going to miss. Pelipper going to get hit with a Hydro Pump that time, doing pretty good damage, getting it nice and low. The Hurricane not doing a whole lot of damage to Whirlpool, so Whirlpool able to stick it in there and going to be able to Volt Switch out this turn, finishing off the Pelipper. Getting a new Pokemon on the field for us there. At which point we bring in Hanu. Hanu is going to throw up the Stone Edge, which is going to do good damage to Rika, and thankfully the Hydro Pump misses, so we get fairly lucky in that. the knockoff landing and finishing off the starter Pokemon, leaving update just with Captain Crunch and its Seismitoad. Captain Crunch is going to start speed boosting and Mega Evolve and a Mega Sharpedo, using the Crunch on Hanu, and then going to finish Hanu off this turn. At which point the Sharpedo has to go up against Toadette, and Toadette throws up the Mach Punch, which is going to be enough to finish off Captain Crunch, so that works out very nicely for us. Dumpling then comes in with a Sludge Wave and going to finish off Toadette, leaving me with just 2 Pokemon here, Dragonite and Whirlpool. Raceland then comes in at that point, sets up the Dragon Dance. The Hydro Pump going to land, but not do a whole lot there, which is pretty nice for us. Raceland is then going to throw up the Dragon Claw, which is going to be enough to finish Dumpling off and gain victory for us today. So, we defeat Update 124 in the final gym battle of the Season 2 of Gray version. Very, very exciting. Thank you guys all so much for participating this week. Especially thank you to Update 124, who I have not thanked previously. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. A nice way to wrap up the gym challenge here today. You guys, I like the water type for something like this because there's a lot of variety. A lot of Pokemon you guys could have chosen. We saw a lot of similar Pokemon, but also a lot of variety as we went through. I think this is the only time we saw Bruxish or whatever during the battle, or during the episode. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for participating. Let's jump into the spreadsheet here, and we'll figure out what we're doing next week, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we go on the spreadsheet. And whereas normally in the series, and actually as I initially planned until I was looking at my schedule earlier this week, we would be, at this point, having completed the final gym, we would be moving into Ubers, which we are going to do. But instead of going straight into the Elite Four, we would be moving into... we would do one last random encounter for the season, kind of as our victory road sort of encounter. Unfortunately, looking ahead on my schedule, that would cause the series to bump into one of my trips that I'm doing this year. My wife and I are going to be going to Ireland toward the end of June for a week, which means probably the week before and the week of and the week after, I'm not going to be available at all for Gray version stuff, or really anything YouTube related. So, as opposed to like pushing the finale out for weeks or something like that, I decided we'd just remove 1 week in there, which is going to have us finish out this series well clear of my trip. Well, the week before my trip, and that way we don't have to worry about it. So, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it may not matter to any of you guys, but we're not going to be rolling Rival, Root Trainer, or Evil Team. We're going to be moving right into the Elite Four after having gotten our 8th gym badge. So it's like one of those regions. There's at least one region where there's like nothing in the victory road at all, and you just kind of walk right through, and there you go. So instead, we need to roll for the Elite Four. Now we have 4 through 16 available. We have Grass, Electric, Ice, Fighting, Poison, Flying, Bug, Rock, Ghost, and Dark available. So let's go ahead and minimum is going to be 4, and then 16. Generate, and 4. Okay, so our first Elite Four member is going to be a Grass type trainer, and we're going to be in the Ubers tier this time. So what generally happens, I think you guys kind of alluded to this in the Discord, going into Ubers is the first time you guys are probably going to potentially see a legendary on my team. Many of you guys have already used legendaries, so you don't really need any encouragement saying, okay, I mean, there's a couple of good grass legendaries. I think you got like Celebi or a Verizon or whatever. I think there's a couple of those that you guys can potentially make use of. I know I'm probably for sure going to see some Kartanas, things like that. But yeah, so Ubers I think it's stupid that Ubers exist and then there's also Anything Goes. Ubers used to be the Anything Goes, and then they decided to make it a real tier and start banning stuff from Ubers. And it's like, really? That was kind of like the point of Ubers. But anyway, so yeah, it's kind of all no holds barred at all going into here. Obviously, it still needs to be a legal Ubers team, so if something's been banned from Ubers, you can't use it. But yeah, so our first Elite Four member in the Gray version is going to be Grass type. So build your Grass type Ubers teams, and I look forward to seeing you guys out there this week. As usual, Monday from 5 to 6 Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. EST and Wednesday from 12 to 1 p.m. EST are going to be our times for Gray version this week, as it has been for most of the last several weeks. Yeah, I think that's going to work out. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to let me know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this quite a lot, actually. This should be a lot of fun. We're getting close to the end of the series. We've only got this next week with Grass-type Ubers, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more after that. I will note that when we get to the champion one, we will randomize this. So I think what we did with the first season of the Gray version, we did the champion and we generated this, so it could either end up being, you know, our rival could end up being the champion. You know, a member of the evil team could end up being the champion, or it could just be some random trainer. Usually the champions have kind of off-type, you know, whatever Pokemon they want. But if you guys say in the comments at some point that you want to do another mono-type one, we can do that as well. I'll leave that up to you guys. This series is mostly for you. So yeah, whatever you guys say goes on that one. But anyway, guys, that's information we don't need to worry about for several weeks, so I will let you go here. But thank you so much for watching. I've been Tortimer the Grey, and you guys have been great. Make sure those likes, comments, subscriptions for me, guys, and I will see you all back here next time. Alrighty, guys. Have a good one.